Have you ever heard that book, It's Your Ship? This whole management philosophy about no matter if you're the lowest guy or the captain of the ship, it's your ship. You're in the same ocean, going in the same direction, to the same storm, to the same destination. And so I really like it when apprentices figure that out. It's all our job, whether I own the company or this is our business. Like, we're going together. It's your business as much as it's mine.
I'm very curious about what are some of the characteristics of a good apprentice that you search for?
I'm looking for people that want to make things happen for themselves and are driven and are smart, but more kinetic. They didn't want to go to school, but they got brightness in their eyes. How do you know when an apprentice is going to work out?
Hit attitude for sure. The attitude of, that's good enough. Cutting corners because it's not their company. Their buy-in, they don't feel like they're contributing to the company. And by contributing to the company, there's some dividends. Then I don't feel like you're really invested in. So this is just a job, not a career for you. So maybe it's time for you to move on. I started working with Urban Mechanical because they really support education out, not only just in the field. And companies actually put me through a 4-year college, get my bachelor's degree in business administration and concentration in project management. So they're trying to develop the guys that they have to become project managers, stuff like that. Yeah. Not just only be apprentices and journey out, but actually lead a team.
What is the economy of movement?
So economy of movement to me is basically like, say, if you're setting up your workstation, making sure that all your materials are within a reach away so that when your journeyman asks you, hey, cut me a piece this length with this fitting, you're not running from that box to that box, left and right, and taking longer than you should to be able to deliver a made product.
Welcome to Behind the Windshield with Dennis the Apprentice, the podcast where we bring you a diverse lineup of guests, apprentices, seasoned professionals, visionary entrepreneurs, business owners, and master craftsmen every week. I'm your host, Dennis. Yes, I am an apprentice because I'm never going to stop learning and trying new things. I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, and I'm a business owner of a Zoom grain franchise in Seattle, Washington. And I'm on a mission to help hardworking young people get a profitable career in the trades without a college education. So this podcast is for people who are visionary entrepreneurs, apprentices in any trade, people who want to start their own business, and even young people without any experience at all. We bring you stories, insights, and experiences that will help you learn from the success and mistakes of guests and even myself. You can find this podcast on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's go! John, welcome to Behind the Windshield with Dennis the Apprentice at the PHCC booth at the Great Northwest Trade Show.
Happy to be here. Appreciate you welcoming me.
Awesome. John, right? Yeah. Yes. I'm nervous. Sorry, I'm meeting so many people. So, John, you're an apprentice plumber.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So what I do, I've been building this brand, Dennis the Apprentice, but my premise really is just helping apprentices get traction in their trade.
Oh, excellent.
And so, if you go to college, there's English 102, 103, 201, whatever, right?
Well aware, yeah.
In the trades, it's the school of hard knocks kind of, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, why does it have to be that way? Why don't we help the apprentices out and get some traction? So anyway, that's all we're talking about.
So what are you just developing, like a network, a support network?
Yeah, so I'm on social media a lot. I put out videos every single day on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube shorts, just like inspired by what's happening in my company. I've been in business for 23 years. I've got 20 trucks and several apprentices and a lab, a training lab, and all that. So just on what's going on in my shop, I try to find something that would be useful to apprentices, and I put a little video out every day.
If you don't mind me asking you,
yeah,
I'm very curious about what are some of the characteristics of a good apprentice that you search for?
I was going to ask you, but okay, I'll answer the question. I'm looking for people that want to make things happen for themselves and are driven and are smart, but more kinetic. They didn't want to go to school, but they got their eyes. There's brightness in their eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're interested in making something happen. And then I kind of got a vendetta about the colleges, to be frank. Like, they made my daughter cry. My daughter went to junior college and she felt like a failure one day. And I'm like, why are you teary? And she's like, I feel like a failure. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, I'm not going to a 4-year college. And I'm like, when did going to the community college for 2 years to figure out what you're going to do be a bad thing?
Yeah,
and
great.
So it's like, this is ridiculous. So anyway, if I find a good person, I want to pour everything into her and make them. I want them to be a rock star.
Yeah.
And so when their buddies get out of college, there's no comparison, right?
Well,
So I'm looking for driven people.
I appreciate that, and I thank you for that. I actually I started working with Urban Mechanical because they really support education, not only just in the field, but going back to school, right?
Yeah.
And the company's actually put me through a 4-year college to get my bachelor's degree in business administration and concentration in project management.
Awesome.
So, they're trying to, develop the guys that they have, to become project managers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not just only be apprentices and journey out, but actually lead a team, right? So
Yes.
that's why I actually work for them.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How did you find the trade?
I kind of fell into it.
Okay.
I was a restaurant owner for about 4 years, and I decided I was going to sell my restaurant one day, and one of the customers used to come in all the time. I told him about what I was doing, and he says, "Hey, if you're looking for work, call me up." And one day I decided to give him a call and said, "Come on up to the shop. We're going to sign you up," and got right into it.
Awesome.
Yeah, just like that.
So Urban Mechanical?
Yeah, Urban Mechanical.
Where are you out of?
They're out of Tri-Cities, but they do work all over Seattle, Moses Lake.
Awesome.
That area.
Aren't the trades cool?
I enjoy it. I think it's something that more people need to get into and not forget about, because it feels like a lot of the older guys are exiting and a lot of these younger guys ain't coming in and filling in those shoes.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's a good opportunity that what you're doing here is actually spreading the word and spreading that message.
Yeah. So that's why I started out on Instagram, because that's where the young people are, right?
Yeah.
That's where I started. And now it's TikTok. Like, I'm just constantly every day putting videos out on how to, and my message is, I'm not doing the hard skills like how to turn a wrench or all that stuff. It's more soft skills like showing up on time and anticipating what your journeyman needs and staying busy.
Economy of movement.
I was just going to say, no empty hands, right?
Yeah.
Take garbage out. If you go to get a tool, don't go anywhere empty-handed, right?
Yeah, continuous improvement for sure.
So talk to me about economy of improvement. You're the first person to say those words on the podcast. So talk to me about what is the economy of movement?
So economy of movement to me is basically like, say if you're setting up your workstation, making sure that all your materials are within a reach away, so that when your journeyman asks you, "Hey, cut me a piece this length with this fitting," you're not running from that box to that box left and right and taking longer than you should.
Awesome.
To be able to deliver a made product, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very cool. So how do you know when you have a good apprentice? Or how do you find a good one?
Oh, man. I mean, first, I'll touch on what you said earlier. First and foremost, I think it's showing up on time. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late.
Yeah. And why is that?
It's because I feel like you're already prepared before I need you. You're already charged up, ready to go. I mean, most people, unfortunately, in this trade, a lot of guys will come in and show up to the job site, light up a cigarette, and stand around waiting, see what they got to do next, instead of picking up. You already knew the day before when you left yesterday what you were going to do tomorrow, and you had a list of what you needed before you showed up. So you're already laying that out, laying all your station. If you're putting the station together, and then already reading the blueprint, or you already talked to your journeyman, you already know where he wants to lay out. So, you got to come prepared for sure. Yeah.
And things are always going to come up that throw you off, right? And so being early gives you the time to overcome whatever obstacle you don't even know is coming, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. How do you know when an apprentice isn't going to work out? Like, what are some things that apprentices do that kind of give you the sign that, this guy might be the wrong trade or the wrong?
Hit attitude for sure. The attitude of like, that's good enough. Cutting corners. Because it's not their company, or they don't take ownership, like their buy-in. Like if they don't feel like they're contributing to the company, and by contributing to the company, there's some dividends, then I don't feel like you're really invested. And so this is just a job, not a career for you. So maybe it's time for you to move on.
Yeah.
Because the trade, it is a career.
Yeah.
It's not just
this is a job.
Yeah, absolutely. You're learning a skill.
Yeah. Have you ever heard that book, It's Your Ship?
Unfortunately,
I think it was a Navy. I think he was Navy. He ran an aircraft carrier, but anyway, he wrote a book on It's Your Ship. And this whole management philosophy about no matter if you're the lowest guy or the captain of the ship, it's your ship. You're in the same ocean, going in the same direction, to the same storm, to the same destination. And so I really like it when apprentices figure that out. And it's like, this isn't my house, this isn't my business, or it's all our job. And whether I own the company or this is our business, like we're going together, right? It's your business as much as it's mine.
Yeah,
right.
Not only that, I mean, the quality of the work, is essentially going to keep us working, because we're going to get referrals for other jobs.
Yeah.
And I mean, when it slows down, that's what you need. You need you need people to say, Urban Mechanical does quality work.
Right.
Yeah, their bid came in a little high, but they're gonna put in 100%, 150%.
Yeah.
And they got good guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So how long have they been around?
Urban Mechanical has been around a little over 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
The owner has been in the industry for over like 25 years.
Hey, awesome.
Yeah.
Get a lot of commercial work, or?
The majority of his work is residential, some commercial.
Okay. Very cool. Tell me about what's the best age for an apprentice? Like, you're coming in a little bit later as an apprentice. So did I. So there's some debate about, you want a kid right out of high school, or do you want him to go get beat up a little bit, or you want him to have him success in a different area first, or tell me about that. What have you experienced so far?
So I've came into the industry twice. This is my second time in.
Okay.
I came in when I was around, I think I was 23 years old.
Okay.
I gave it a go, and I wasn't mature enough to want to continue doing it.
Okay.
Then I wanted to go explore.
Sure.
I'm 41 now, and I'm not really exploring anymore. Making a hard decision.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stick with it, because I feel as I mature, I really pick up on understanding the processes. I really pick on the terminology. I really enjoyed the change, the new projects. I'm not really into monotony, right? And I don't think you really understand what you like or how you learn until you get a little bit older.
Yeah.
And I don't think I gave myself a chance when I was a little younger, because I fully didn't understand how I learned.
Right.
And so...
How do you learn?
So I'm definitely hands-on.
Yeah.
And I'm really good with understanding a process and following that process. Where I struggle, this is one of my weaknesses that I work on, is when the process isn't followed from A to Z and it breaks, it throws a spoon into it, and I get lost a little bit.
Yeah.
And the way I recover is, I don't let my pride get in the way. I'm never afraid to go ask for help.
Yes.
And I think that's what's really important. What apprentices need to remember in this trade is not let your pride get away.
Yeah.
Because the first time I walked away was because someone explained to me how to put in hand drains, and I moved from one unit to the next. And I felt embarrassed to go ask my journeyman again to tell me how the layout of that fan drain. And so I walked out and I said, you know what? It's not for me.
Oh, no.
Because of my pride, I didn't want to go ask again.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
boy. That's a good lesson, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Never happen again.
I struggle. I don't struggle. I work hard to emphasize that we leave the ego at the door. Like, I say this all the time. This isn't high school anymore.
Yeah.
We're not trying to impress the girl over the corner or something, right? It's like if you don't understand something, this has happened this last week. The guy asked a quarter. The guy says, why is it a quarter inch per foot? Why isn't it 25% instead of 2%? Does that make sense? The question.
So,
You understand the question? It's like, it's a 2% grade or a quarter inch per foot, right? Those are the same thing. I hope I'm not messing this up.
No, you're good.
But he says, well, why isn't a quarter an inch? Why isn't it 25%? And so someone answered the question and he didn't get it. And I go, hold on. I can see in his eyes. I go, did you understand what he just said? And he go, no, not really. And so I'm like, so we're not in high school anymore. So ask the say this. Could you say that again in different words? Try different words. And so they tried again. He still didn't get it. So I finally said, I interrupted, like, it's because it's a quarter inch in 12 inches, not 1 inch. A quarter inch is 25% of 1 inch. We're talking 12 inches. And he's like, ah. And I'm like, you have to ask until you understand, because we're not in high school anymore, right? And then, so leave the ego at the door. If you've got a kid that doesn't understand, you don't want to scare him so much that he'll never ask you a question, right?
Sure.
So,
measure twice, cut once, right?
yeah.
I mean, mistakes can be costly sometimes, so it's better to ask.
Yeah.
And so, hey,
Great.
a little press time. I appreciate you inviting me.
Absolutely. John, thanks for coming on the show.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you for sticking around to the end of the show. Did you agree? Did you disagree? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, be sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. Making the trades the place to be for young people is a team effort. So share this with someone and help us all out.